In communication, connectivity is everything. We ensure that the links never sleep. Quantities and qualities, all in our data service, providing efficient, reliable voice and data service. We believe if you're not up to speed, then you're going backwards. Communications have to flow as fast as the speed of light. Whatever business you're in, having someone who understands your needs is critical. That is why we just don't offer you technology, we offer you solutions. Enjoy Gamcel's internet broadband anytime, anywhere. Your national operator, Gamcel, Yaibaram.
All right.
Honey, did you remind him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But don't you know about Baluwo?
Baluwo? What is Baluwo?
Baluwo is a service that your son can use to send provisions directly to you guys from the shop. And you don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Tell me how Baluwo works.
It's very simple.
Just log on to baluwo.com and shop, or download the app on your phone. You can shop on the website or using the app to buy online basic products for your family and friends. With Baluwo, you decide what your money is spent on. Your money, your choice. Buy online products for your family and friends in the Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria or Mali. Baluwo, better than sending money.
Are you thinking of owning your dream homes? EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
Start of our proceedings this morning. We have been meeting in our conference room, the Commission, since 9:45. We were attending to a very urgent matter. So sincere apologies again for this very late start. Imam, you have the floor if you can offer some prayers, please.
Thank you, Chair. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين الله الذي جعل لكم الأرض قرارا والسماء بناء وصوركم فأحسنوا صوركم ورزقكم من طيبات ذلكم الله ربكم فتبارك الله رب العالمين هو الحي لا إله إلا هو فادعوه مخلصين له الدين الحمد لله رب العالمين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين.
Amen. Shukran, Imam Jallo. Bishop, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Gracious and eternal Father, we thank you for the past month of April, for seeing us through from the beginning of it to the very end of it. And we thank you for ushering us to the beginning of another new month, the month of May. We continue to give our sittings here in the TRRC under your direction, your protection. And we continue to pray for the witness that will appear before the commission this morning, that you will grant the witness the boldness to speak the truth. Grant the commission the discerning spirit to discern between truth and falsehood. And we continue to pray for the population, the diaspora, and the international community as well. That, Lord, we know the interest they have in the TRRC, that they should allow the due process to take its proper course. And at the end of it, you will reward each and every one accordingly. This we ask through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Bishop Wadiko. Council, I believe we are continuing with our focus on the justice sector institutions. If that is the case, and you're ready with this morning's witness, please proceed.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Oh, I should say good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, yes, commissioners, and members of the audience. Yes, we still continuing with investigations into the justice sector institutions, and I'm pleased to announce that Mrs. Hadidande Jabi would lead the next witness. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fowl, Lead Counsel. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and Commissioners and the audience. May the witness be brought in, please, Mr. Osher.
I, Patrick Gomez.
I, Patrick Gomez.
Do swear that.
Do swear that.
I'll speak the truth.
I will speak the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank
you. Good afternoon, Mr. Witness.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the TRRC.
Thank you very much.
As usual, we like to have interpretation during the hearing. Can you tell this commission, would you prefer Wolof or Mandinka?
I am more comfortable speaking English language.
You will speak in the English language, but we normally do interpretation
you mean the
for the
interpretation?
audience.
Wolof, maybe.
Thank you very much. Interpretation booth, may we have Wolof, please? Mr. Witness, just to bear in mind that since we're going to be having interpretation, you will have to give a few minutes between my questions and your answers so that we don't talk over the interpreters. Thank you.
Very well. Thank you so much.
Interpretation booth, are we ready? Welcome again to the TRRC, Mr. Witness.
Thank you so much.
And thank you very much for your willingness to come and testify before this commission today.
Seede bi ñu ngi la dalalaat te di kontaan ci yow li nga nangu pour ñëw teew fii tey.
During your testimony, we shall go through the following issues today.
Ci jamono ji nga joxe say seede fii nag yi ma lim si ni moom laa bëgg ñu waxtaanee.
You shall tell the commission about your background, including your educational background.
Di nga wax commission bi yaay kan ak fi nga jaar ci sa wàllu njàng.
You shall tell the commission about your appointment into the judicial service.
Ak wax commission bi tamit biñ la jëlee liggéey ci bunti àtte bi.
You shall tell the commission about the atmosphere under which magistrates worked under the Jammeh regime.
Ak ci yan anam la àttekat yi doon liggéeyee ci ron nguuri Jammeh.
You shall tell the commission about the relationship that existed between the bench, meaning the magistrates, and the executive.
jokko bi nga xamne nak mo nekkon ci digante attekat yi ak njiti réew mi.
And the executive, we mean the government of Yaya Jammeh.
Te suñu njit yoy nak moy ñi nga xamne ñoy nguur gi ak Yaya Jammeh.
We would like to hear about the reactions of the executive
dañ bëgg xam li nga xamne non la kilifa yoyu daan defé
under the direction of Yaya Jammeh
ci ndigal lo xamne mu ngi daan bayé ko ci Yaya Jammeh
on decisions and judgments
ak li nga xamne modi jël ndogal ak atté
which emanated from the courts,
nga xamne daf daan bayé ko ci atté kay bi,
in particular the magistrates court,
surtout bërëb bi nga xamne moy atté kay magistrate bi,
in which the said government under Yaya Jammeh had interest in.
nga xamne nguur gi ci ron Yaya Jammeh ñom aajo won nañ ci lool.
You shall tell this commission about the reason why you were transferred from a normal station magistrate to a roaming magistrate.
ñu waxal tamit lana tax ñu dal di la toxal ci magistrate bo xamne ben bërepp la tok di atté ñu dal di ko wécc def la na ngay wuralu ci sa walli atté.
You shall also discuss before this commission the encounter you had with the NIA,
nga wax commission bi tamit jokko bi nga xamne doxna sa digante ak NIA,
meaning the National Intelligence Agency.
moy National Intelligence Agency bi.
After discussing those issues, Mr. Witness,
buñ waxtane li yépp nak ba paré sédé bi,
I shall transfer you back to the chair and the commissioners
dina la jébal nak chairman bi ak commissioner yi
for any questions they may have for you.
bu fekkee ne amna luñ la laaj ñu laaj la ko.
After that, you shall be given the opportunity to give any closing remarks you may have.
bu loolu yëpp weesoo nag bu fekkee ne am nga yenn kàddu yoo bugg a gaaral dinañ la bàyyi nga gaaral ko.
In case you need to have any break during the sitting,
jamono ji ñoo waxtaan nag nii bu fekkee ne bugg nga am benn jamono booy noppaleku,
you should draw my attention to same,
mun nga ma koo yëgal.
and you shall be accorded the same.
bu ko defee nag ñu dal di la ko jox.
If you're comfortable and ready, we may proceed with the hearing.
bu dee pare nga nag mun nañoo commencé.
Yes, we may.
You can sit comfortably, Mr.
Very well.
Witness.
I am. Good.
Can you state your names for this commission?
wax ñu sa tur ak sa santa.
My names are Patrick Gomez.
Patrick Gomez.
Are you known by any other names?
xamee nañ la beneen tur.
I am only known by Patrick Gomez.
Patrick Gomez rek lañ ma xamé.
Can you tell the commission your date of birth?
di nga mën a wax commission bi kañ nga juddu.
I was born on the 27th day of February 1985.
maa ngi juddu ñaar fukki fan ak ñaar ci weeri February 1985.
Can you tell the commission where you were born?
di nga mën a wax commission bi fan nga juddoo.
I was born in the village of Ndemban in Fonyi.
maa ngi juddoo Ndemban ci Fonyi.
Can you give this commission your educational background?
nga mën a wax commission bi nag fan nga jaar sa wàlli njàng.
Yes, I attended St. Teresa's Primary School from the year 1992 to 1997.
ci atum 1992 ba 1997 maa ngi jàngee St. Teresa's Primary School.
And then St. Teresa's Junior School from 1997 to 2001.
1997 ba 2001 maa ngi nekkoon St. Teresa's Junior Secondary School.
And then I went to St. Augustine's High School.
ma dem nag St. Augustine High School.
From 2001 to 2004.
li ko daggee 2001 ba 2004.
Is it correct to say that you did your A levels at St. Augustine's High School?
ndax mun nañoo wax ne A levels yaa ngi ko jëlee St. Augustine's High School.
Yes, it was the equivalent, yes.
waaw noonu la tolloot.
You may continue to tell us where you got your diploma in law.
mun nga eggal nag wax ñu fan nga amee sa diplôme ci wàlli loi.
Upon completion of my high school education, I went to the Gambia Technical Training Institution, GTI.
bi ma jeexalee nag suma njàng ci Gambia fii ci grade ci njàngam ndaw mi ma dem GTI.
where I did my A-level and diploma in law.
fu laa def suma A-level ak diploma ci law.
Between 2004 to 2006.
ci diggante 2004 ak 2006.
I then got enrolled at the University of the Gambia.
mu jege ma dugg nag ci University Gambia bi.
In the year 2009.
ci atum 2009.
At the Faculty of Law.
di ci banqaas bi ñu jàngee wàlli loi.
I got my LLB degree in 2013.
ma am suma LLB degree ci atum 2013.
And in the same year, I also attended FSU, Florida State University.
ma defaat beneen njàng.
Where I did a one-year program in human rights and humanitarian law.
ma def benn at boo xam ne di jàng nag lu jëm ci wàlli yelleefi doomu aadama ak luwaay doomu aadama.
I did my bar training in the Gambia.
ma def nag suma njàngam lu aju ci wàlli luwaaya fii ci réewi Gambia.
In 2014.
ci atum 2014.
Yes, and I also did some other short courses whilst working for the Ministry of Justice.
Def naa ay njàng yi tamit ci jamono bi nga xam ne maa ngi liggéeyal ministre bi saytu wàlli loi ak àtte ci réew mi.
Basically, that's my legal education.
Ci gàttal foofu mooy fa la suma njàng em.
Mr. Gomez, just for clarification.
Mr. Gomez, pour leeral rek.
Did you attend the law school before proceeding to the course which you did in Florida State University?
Ndax jàngoon nga demoon nga ci jàng bi ñoo jàngee mbiri loi balaa nga continue dem Florida State University?
I did that program just immediately after I finished my my LLB.
Dama def programme boobu rek gannaaw bu ma jeexalee suma LLB bi.
Because there was a gap between the LLB and the BL.
Ndax amoon na gap diggante boo xam ne nekk na diggante LLB ak BL bi.
Thank you for that clarification.
Jërëjëf ci leeral boobu.
Can you tell the Commission what you did after you finished university and also your your BL course?
Li nga mën a wax commission bi nag lan nga def gannaaw boo matale sa jàngum university ak sa BL?
Immediately I finished my BL.
Gannaaw bu ma jeexalee suma BL bi rek.
Which is the barrister program.
Nga xam ne ni mooy barrister programme bi.
I had an appointment to work for the Judicial of the Gambia.
Ci la am nag tànneef liggéey ci liggéeyal Gambia.
Mr. Gomez, can you tell this commission whether you had to do an application to join the judicial service?
Ndax di nga mën a wax commission bi ndax bindu woon nga pour mën a dugg ci liggéeykaay boobu nga xam ne ñoo amee wàlli àtte bi?
Yes, at the time I sent my application
ci jamono bi nga xamee ci laa yónnee suma bindu boobu
to the CJ's office, which is Chief Justice's office at the High Court complex in Banjul.
Ci office Chief Justice bi ci Banjul.
And I was called for an interview.
Ñu oo ma nag pour laaj ma.
And I was appointed as a first-class magistrate.
Bu ko fee nag ci lañ ma tànn def ma magistrate di àttekat.
It is therefore correct to say that you're telling this commission that you were hired based on your qualifications.
Bon nga wax commission bi ne boo gisee ñu jël la liggéey de dañ sukkandiku ci yow sa xam-xam.
That is correct.
And that you were found to be a fit and proper person to actually hold the position of a magistrate.
Gis nañ ne yow yelloo nga pour ñu jox la place pour nga nekk àttekat.
Yes, because in fact, when I finished my bar, it was not my first choice to apply for the position of a magistrate. In fact, I was recommended by an unknown person, and we were just called, myself and one Babka Drame.
Bi ma jeexalee nag luutoon suma une rek pour ma commencé nekk magistrate waaye nag jamono jooju ràññee woon na man di benn nit ku ñu xamee Baboucar.
And then we were called at the CJ's office, and then we were made to understand that someone recommended us to apply at the lower bench as a first-class magistrate.
Ci kaw loolu nag bañ demee ci office Chief Justice lañ ñu ràññee ne daal am na koo xam ne nii moo ñu ràññee pour ñu nekk nag first-class magistrate.
Yes. Mr. Gomez, can you tell this commission presently what positions you hold?
Mr. Gomez, jamono ji ñu tollu ni yow ban ma xama nga yore?
I currently work as a senior state counsel at the Attorney General's office.
Léegi nag senior state counsel la di lawyer nguur gi ci office Attorney General's chambers.
Thank you. So I'd like to take you back to where you said that you were hired as a first-class magistrate.
Dama la bëgg delloo gannaaw tuuti na fañ la jëlee liggéey nga nekk li ñoo wax first-class magistrate.
Can you tell this commission about your experience when you were appointed a magistrate?
Di nga mën a wax commission bi na naka nga daan li gisee sa liggéey jamono biñ la jëlee pour nga nekk magistrate.
I was appointed in 2014.
Ñu ma fal atum 2014.
And I was posted to Carnarvon Court.
Ñu ebal ma nag ca Carnarvon Court.
Which was one of the biggest jurisdictions at the time, and still.
Nga xam ne nag mooy place bi gën a yaatu nag ci buntu àtte yi.
And I did my induction with the principal magistrate at the time.
Ma def nag suma njàng ci wàlli àtte boobu ak principal magistrate bi ci waxtu woowu.
Mr. Gomez, can you tell this commission what the induction entailed?
Dégg ñu mën a wax nag nekk boobu nga nekkoon ci roon àttekat bu mag boobu lan la umba?
So when you are appointed as a magistrate,
buñ la tànnee fal la def la magistrate,
regardless of your education,
moo xam nag sa njàng fu mu tollu itamit day,
you are required to go under a training before an experienced magistrate.
Foog si nga am njàng moo xam ne nii dañ la ko sësale si kenn balaa ngaa nekk nag magistrate bu mot.
So usually this training will entail you will sit with the principal magistrate whilst he is presiding over cases in the courtroom.
Boobaa nag da nga toog dendek koo xam ne nii ku mat la ci wàlli àtte ngay seet naka la mooy doxalee ci mbiri atte yi.
So that you have first hand as to how cases are being dealt with in court.
bu ko defee nag da nga xam yow ni nga xamee ni noonu la ñuy doxalee ci wàlli court.
Yes, basically that's it.
waaw loolu daal la ci gàttal.
Can you tell this commission how long you normally have to sit with the principal magistrate?
nga mën a wax commission bi nag ci yan diir nga dee faral di toog ak àttekat bu mag boobu.
Usually it will last between 2 weeks to 1 month.
léegoo-léeg si diirab ñaari bés yu ay ba benn weer.
Therefore, it is correct to say that after that set induction, you now move to your own court.
bon mun nañoo wax ne njàng bi nga jàngee ci ron magistrate bu mag boobu gannaaw bi ci nga toxu nag ci sa àttekaay boppa.
That's correct.
Wow.
Now tell this commission your experience in handling your own court in Kanifing Magistrate Court.
waxal commission bi nag yow naka nga doon liggéeyee ci Kanifing Magistrate Court bi.
So in Kanifing Magistrate Court, we were about 5 magistrates at the time.
ci Kanifing Magistrate Court jamono boobu ñun juróom lañ woon ci àttekat yi.
But we were all independent from each other.
waaye nag kenn ku nekk ak dafa dox ak saawo si boppam.
And so when cases come in the morning,
bu tefaar yi ñëwee ci suba si case yi.
Either criminal cases or civil cases.
moo xam nag muy tefaar wala boo xam ne diggante nit ak nit la.
The principal magistrate at the time, who would have been the most experienced on the bench at the time.
ki nga xam ne nag mooy kilifa gi nga xam ne moo jiite woon ci wàlli àtte bi ci jamono boobu nga xam moo ñu gën a màcc ci liggéey bi.
Is tasked with the responsibility of assigning files to magistrates.
moom la ñu sas nag lu aju ci wàlli ni muy jëlee file di ko jox nag kenn di sas si ñun magistrate yi.
And these files are assigned based on the class of magistrate that are available at the time.
bu ko defee nag la yooyu ñu ngi koy jox nag sësale ko nag si ni nga xamee noonu la magistrate yi màccantee ci liggéey bi.
It's important to state that you have about 3 classes of magistrates.
dana leer baax nag pour ñu leeral ne am na ñetti fànn magistrate.
Mr. Gomez, we will get to that in a minute.
Mr. Gomez dinañ egg foofu ci kanam tuuti.
Whilst you were stationed at Kanifing Magistrate, who was the principal magistrate at that time?
jamono bi nga nekk Kanifing Magistrate ci àttekaay boobu kan mooy woon àttekat bu mag ba fa nekkoon.
The principal was one Mr. Your Worship Tabali, as he then was.
boobu jamono boobu nag Tabali moo fa nekkoon Your Worship.
He is currently the Master of the High Court.
jamono bii nag mooy Master of the High Court.
Is he currently Master or Sheriff of the High Court?
Master la wala Sheriff ci àttekaay bu mag bi.
If I can vividly remember, he was sheriff at some point, but I think now he should be the Master of the High Court, I think.
su ma mënee fàtte jamono boobu sheriff bi la woon waaye nag léegi daal war naa nekk ne master bi la ci High Court bi.
You started telling us about the classes of magistrates that existed in the system.
commencé woon nga nag dañu wax yan façon ngi magistrate ñoo nekk ci liggéeykaay ba.
And it is still the system that exists.
foog naa loolu mooy dox ba léegi de.
Correct.
Can you go further and explain to the Commission about the different classes of magistrates?
di nga mun a gën a waxal nag commission bi yan façon ak yan façon ngi magistrate ñoo nekk ci àttekaay bi.
Yes, you have the first class magistrate.
am nga first class magistrate bi.
You have a second class magistrate.
nga am ñaareeli classe magistrate.
And you have the third class magistrate.
nga am ñetteeli classe magistrate.
The difference is that based on the jurisdiction that they have over cases.
li leen utale rek mu ngi aju nag ci wàlli seen dayuwaay ci mbiri layoo yooyu.
Just to say that there are cases that can only be handled by a first class magistrate based on the education and the qualification.
moo nekk rek ne am na yenn layoo yoo xam ne nii benn magistrate bi moo ko war a amee mu ngi aju nag ci wàlli xam-xamam ak fi mu toll ci dayoo àtte.
And the same applies to the second class and the third class.
ba ko defee nag loolu rek mooy jëm ci ñaareeli classe bi ak ba ci ñetteeli classe bi.
Is it also correct that we have magistrates that are called lay magistrates?
ndax diñ ne mën a wax ne am nañ ay àttekat yoo xam ne ñu ngi leen a wax lay maanaam amuñ xam-xam lool ci mbir yi.
Yes, these are usually in fact the third class magistrates.
waaw lii nag mooy lu ci bëri daal mooy ñetteeli classe yi magistrate.
They wouldn't require any formal legal training.
aajowuñ sax de ñu am njàng moo xam ne mu ngi aju ci wàlli loi.
Prior to their appointment as a magistrate.
lu jiitu na balañ leen ay tànn ñu nekk magistrate.
But then, because of their experience in either government or any reputable institution,
waaye nag li aju mooy seen xam-xam bu mot ci leen liggéeyukaay ci wàlli nguur gi wala yeneen buntu liggéeykaay.
they are deemed to be qualified to administer over minor cases.
yelloo nañ nag pour ñu nekk ñoo xam ne ñu mot lañ ci seen wàlli liggéey ci wàlli àtte ay layoo yu ndaw a ndaw yi.
Thank you for that explanation. I thought it was important to actually explain further what you meant by third-class magistrates.
waa jërëjëf foog naa loolu jaaru na woon na nga leeral suñu waxee ñi ñoo wax third-class magistrate ñooy ñan.
You've told the commission that you were a first-class magistrate at Kanifing.
wax nga commission bi fii ne yow de first-class magistrate nga woon Kanifing.
Can you tell the commission what type of cases you handled?
ñu mun a wax commission bi na yan façon ngi case nga daan àtte foofu.
As a first-class magistrate,
niki first-class magistrate di class bu njëkk.
I handle both criminal and civil cases.
léegi danaa de amee tefaar yu mel ni yoo xam ne ni tefaar yi nit la ak diggante nit ak nit yi tamit ay layoo.
And my powers regarding handling civil cases
suma doole na fi mu am nag ci wàlli atte boo xam ne diggante nit ak nit la.
would be limited to cases that are not above $1 million.
mooy nag layoo yi nga xam ne ni daal lépp loo xam ne moom lañ sa sisale rek du war a weesu $1 million.
And when it comes to a criminal matter,
bu ñëwee nag ci mbiri tefaar.
during my time we can handle all cases.
mun ci suñ jamono mun nañoo nag atte nag layoo yu yëpp.
Except cases that attracts let's say maybe treason cases or that attracts a death penalty sort of.
lu jëm ci wàlli atte boo xam ne ni daal yëfi suufu nguur la wala tamit yeneen wala rey.
At the time that you were a magistrate at Kanifing, can you tell this commission who was the Chief Justice of the Judiciary?
jamono ji nga nekk àttekat ci Kanifing magistrate ndax di ñu mun a wax kan moo nekkoon Chief Justice bi.
Yes, when I was employed, the Chief Justice was one Justice Chauhan, a Pakistani.
jamono boobu nag benn waa Pakistan di Justice Chauhan moo nekkoon Chief Justice bi.
I think the full name is Ali Nawaz Chauhan.
turam nag Ali Nawaz Chauhan la.
Yes.
And by the time you left the judiciary, was he still the Chief Justice?
Bang fa bàyyeekoo nag ndax ba léegi moo nekkoon Chief Justice.
No, because in fact, in the middle of my employment, he had already left because I understand he was sacked.
ci jamono bi nga xamee nag ci la commencé liggéey mu jéegi ci lañ ko la dem laa yëg daal ne dàq nañ ko.
Mr. Gomez, can you explain further to this commission what you mean by he was sacked?
di ñu mun a leeralal fii ci commission bi soo waxee ne dañ ko dàqal lu mu tekki.
The CJ at the time, I understand, had issues regarding some judicial decisions that were taken.
moom nag jamono boobu am na yenn dogal yoo xam ne nii jëloon na ko ci jamono boobu.
And it was common knowledge that the president at the time, Yaya Jammeh, asked him to leave the country within, I think, 48 hours or so.
tey tamit ñëpp yëgoon nañ ne mu jégi Yaya Jammeh daf ko wonoon rek ne ko daal di diirab ñaari fan daal war naa génn réewi Gambia.
So,
Mr. Gomez, is it correct to say that you're telling this commission that
ndax mun naa wax ne yow li nga wax commission bi mooy ne.
this said Chief Justice
Chief Justice boobu.
gave a decision or decisions.
dafa am ndogal boo xam ne moom la jël.
or gave decisions.
mu am ndogal yoo xam ne moom la jël.
which the president then Yaya Jammeh was not happy with.
ndogal yooyu mu jël nag neexutoon président ba woon Yaya Jammeh.
Yes, the facts we got at the time was that the executive in the name of the president was happy with him.
waaw loolu la nag ndax moo nekk ne jamono boobu ñi jiite nguur gi si turi Yaya Jammeh daal kontaanu ñoon ci mbir moom.
And because of that, he was given notice to leave the jurisdiction.
ngir loolu nag moo taxoon ba ñu jox ko daal ne na génn réew mi.
That's correct.
noonu la.
Can you tell the commission who replaced him?
mun ngaa wax commission bi bañ ko daxee na kan moo utu palaasam.
He was replaced by Emmanuel Fagbele.
ku ñu xamee Emmanuel Fagbele moom moo ko utu.
He's a Nigerian binational.
doomi Nigerian la.
Thank you for that. So now we go back to where you were a principal magistrate.
léegi nag ñu delluwaat ci ba jamono ji nga nekkee principal magistrate.
I meant first class magistrate.
First class magistrate.
Tell us the experience you had in the year of 2015.
wax ñu nag na nga doon liggéeyee ci atum 2015.
In the year 2015, I recall vividly.
ci atum 2015 maa ngi fàttaliku bu baax.
I was carrying on my normal duties as a magistrate.
maa ngi doon dem suma liggéey comme ni magistrate.
I'm going to court and administering over cases.
maa ngi dem court di àtte.
And then there was one day, which was my first experience regarding having problems while in the course of my work.
Mr. Gomez, do you remember the day and the exact month this incident happened?
The month, yes, it was on, I think, the month of March.
March 2015.
But not the exact day.
You may continue to tell the commission what happened on that day.
So I was in court and then I was hearing cases. And then I saw the principal at the time. Your Worship Tabali. Just walked into my courtroom. And he was walking towards me. Where I sat at the bench.
Would it be correct to say that your court sitting was then interrupted?
Yes, it was, but apparently it was a normal practice at the time.
At this time, how long had you been a magistrate?
Just a couple of months. I think I should have been on the bench for about 4 months or so, 5 months.
Please continue to tell the commission what happened after he walked into your courtroom.
Yes, so he came in and then said he wanted to talk to me. He had a file in his hand. And he informed me that that matter had to be transferred to the High Court. And I said to him, well, that's fine, because he said he was busy, so he could not do it. He had other matters to attend to. And so asked that, let me just transfer the matter to the High Court.
At this point, were you given any opportunity to read over the file or even understand the facts?
There was no time at such to open the file and then go over the file. Because, like I said, I was in court and the case were ongoing.
Continue to tell the commission what happened when he gave you the file.
So when he gave me the file, I agreed to transfer the matter to the High Court. Because it was usual practice that whenever you have a case that the court doesn't have jurisdiction over, the file is either transferred to the High Court, depending on the nature of the case.
Mr. Gomez, you just said something interesting. You said that was the usual procedure. Can you explain better to this commission what you meant?
Like I explained earlier on, we have jurisdiction over cases. And there's a limit to the power we have to administer over certain cases. So, for example, if you have a file that can only be dealt by a High Court judge, for example, if it's a murder case, we are required to transfer the file. And there are some instances where you can also strike out the matter. It depends on the nature of the file.
Mr. Gomez, can you explain for the commission, why was it necessary for such files to be brought to the magistrate court first and not directly to the High Court?
ndax di ñu mëna waxal nak lan mo tax file bobu ñu ko ñëka indi ci magistrate court bi bala ñoko yobbu nak ci attekay bu mag ba.
Well, prosecutors will argue
légo-lég atte ñi nga xamne ñoo amé kayit yi atte yi ñom légo-lég ñu dal di dagante
that because of the 72 hours timeline given by the constitution,
ndek ñetti fan yi nga xamne ni mom lañ joxe di loi bi ci réew mi
for people or suspects detained in suspicion of the commission of an offense.
Ndek ñi nga xamne ñom lañ jortu ni leen tégué ben place ci tefar bi nga xamne mom lañ leen tuumal
that they should either be released conditionally or unconditionally.
Fox rek ñu génné fox rek ñu bayyi leen ñu tek ci ay sarta wala ñu ñak leen ci tek ay sarta.
They will want to argue that it is much better to arrange them first before a magistrate.
Liñ dé def na moy ñu né dal nim gëna rafété moy nga ñak leen agalé ci ben magistrate
who will perhaps either grant bail or deny bail and then transfer the matter to the high court.
Di ko xamné ni xejna mu joxé bail wala mu ñaka joxé bail dal di ko toxal ci high court bi di court bi gëna kawé.
But the overwhelming opinion is that
way nak li nga xamné ni mo nekkon xelaat bi gëna dëgër fofu moy
that you only bring forward a case before a competent court.
Way nak fox rek nga indi atté ci kaw ci kanam court bo xamné court bu wër la.
That you can only that if you file a matter before a court, it has to be the competent court.
Bu fekkee ne yaa ngi àggale ablayo foog mu nekk court boo xam ne ni court bu wér la.
And so
Mr. Gomez?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. You actually meant a court of competent jurisdiction.
Yes.
Li nga tekki mooy attekaay boo xam ne ñoom ñoo am doole pour ñu atte ko foofu noonu.
You may continue.
That's correct.
Waaw loolu la.
You may continue.
Yes, I understand that there are people who are listening who may not understand some of these legal terms. But then apparently that was what happened. So, but then when I agreed to transfer the matter.
Sorry, Mr. Gomez, before we get to that part of transferring the case. You've just explained an interesting scenario to the Commission, which seems to suggest that there used to be a lot of holding charges that were placed. And it could be seen to be an abuse of the process. Can you explain the holding charges that were being abused by the police and the system to this commission?
Yes, in fact, at that time there were lots of holding charges.
Mr. Gomez, sorry, if I may also just add, and this was also happening to cases where the government, Yaya Jammeh, had an interest in.
That's correct, and it also became a general practice as well. Because it eventually the police were accustomed to doing that.
And would it also be correct to say that accused persons were actually brought to court without representation at times where they could not get representation?
Yes, in fact, I experienced that more in my capacity as a defense counsel.
Tell
the commission about your experience.
Which one? As a defense counsel or at the lower?
As a defense counsel.
My experience as a defense counsel. I had cause to defend so many accused persons. During the time of the previous regime. One of the cases was the arrest of the 28 civil servants. I don't know whether you can recall.
Is it correct that this incident happened later in the years of like 2019? 2016, sorry, 2016.
Yes, 2016, just at the later stage of the former regime.
2016
I recall we'll be in office in chambers.
And
before you realize you have received calls that your clients are being arranged before a court. And this will happen sometimes around 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. When you would have already retired back in chambers. And then to drive all the way to either Banjul or Carnival would be very strenuous and then almost impossible.
So you attend this commission. By the time you get there, the magistrate would have given an order to remand the person in question.
Yes. I will say by the time you have reached that place, perhaps the court has already taken a decision. Sometimes they are remanded. Or being given bail, whichever the case may be. But the idea that they will be arranged late in the day. In my opinion, will clearly violate their right to access an attorney and to defend themselves in a timely manner.
And to be able to make a bail application.
Yes, that's correct.
Wow.
Can you tell us whether these experiences were also happening when you were a magistrate?
Yes, some of my colleagues actually experienced that. When I sat on the bench, I wouldn't really allow such practices. Yes.
Therefore, take us back to the case that you were directed to transfer to the High Court.
Yes,
let me just explain regarding the holding charge a bit. I think at some point there was a directive from the CS office regarding trying to discourage the practice of having a holding charge.
Jamono bu am nañ ndigal boo xam ne ni nag daldi woon na tukkee ci office CJ bi nag pour nag ñuy dàq nag lu jëm ci wàlli layo yooyu ñu teg place.
At some point it was seen to be an abusive process.
Mujjee gi daal dañ ko gisee rek ne daal dafa xëtt lu jëm ci wàlli doxalin bi.
But then to a large extent,
waaye nag ci mujjeental gi
some of the prosecutors who are making these decisions actually some of them genuinely believe
that
it was the right thing to do. So when back to my time at the lower bench, when I received this file from the principal magistrate, before he walked and went back to his chambers. But before I could open the case and then and call the case for it to be transferred, my clerk at the time came to me and told me that I think you should rise and look at this file properly before you call the case. Because she had suspected that it was a file involving a shooting incident that happened the previous day. So I did exactly that. I went back in chambers. And I realized that what she said was correct. But I said to myself, if the case is only to be transferred to the High Court, then that wouldn't be a problem. Yes, and then I went back to court.
ci laa dolli delluwaat ci code bi.
Can you tell this commission what this matter was about? The case that they wanted you to transfer, what was it about?
So this case involved a shooting incident that happened the previous day. So the facts of the case were not contagious. They were not disputed by either party, both the defense and the prosecution. That the incident was that there was a taxi driver who had 2 passengers at the time in his car, a male and a female. And then he drove past a checkpoint, a military checkpoint. And he failed to stop. And so when they had warned him to stop, by firing warning shots with their AK-47, he still wouldn't stop. And so they chased the taxi driver, and then they started shooting at the vehicle. And the bullets.
Mr. Gomez, who was shooting? Who was shooting at the taxi vehicle?
It was done by the military personnel who were on top of the pickup at the time, chasing the taxi.
You may continue.
Yes, and so the facts were that they shot this vehicle, and then the bullets went straight to the windscreen, the back windscreen, and one of the bullets hit the victim, who was, I think, Yabinta Jaju, if I can recall well.
Was this victim a passenger in the said taxi vehicle?
Yes, she was together with one boy in the taxi at the time. So there were 3 of them: the driver, the victim, and another gentleman at the time. So this the bullet struck the head of the victim. And from the evidence you can see it pierced through the eye of the victim. And so the driver was arrested.
You may continue.
Yeah, the driver was arrested and then charged for rash and or negligent act causing death, and 3 other minor offenses, which involve unlicensed driving and disobedience to a lawful order. Yes.
You may continue. Tell us what happened next.
So the case was called in court. I was already with the opinion that the case will be transferred to the High Court. But when the accused person was represented by the one lawyer, Edward Anthony Gomez, the former Attorney General, Edward Gomez, the minister of Justice, and there was a police prosecutor at the time who was one Mbalo, Mr. Mbalo, who currently works at the MOJ, Minister of Justice. Police prosecutor Minister of Justice. So when the case was called, they indicated to the court that in fact they are ready to proceed with the matter.
But at this time, you have already received a directive to transfer the matter to the High Court.
That's correct.
waaw noonu la.
What did you do at that stage?
jamono jooju loo def.
Well, at that time I had no choice but to proceed with the matter.
jamono boobu nag ama dara lu ma mun a def lu may continuer ak mbir mi.
Because the information I received from the principal at the time.
waaye ndax ndigal bi nga xam ne moom laa jógee ko ci jëlee ci principal magistrate bi jamono boobu.
Was just between myself and him at the time, and so there was no other third party.
moom nag jamono boobu man ak moom rek la amul keneen ku ñu ñetteel.
And so therefore I could not just tell the parties that, well, I was informed that this case should be transferred, so it has to be transferred.
te booba mënumaa wax ñooñu ne leen mbir mi dañ ma wax ne naa ko toxal te kon dañ ko war a toxal.
That would have looked very unprofessional at the time.
te kon boobaa na dana nekk loo xam ne daal du lu mot ci liggéey.
At this point, just to make it clear for the Commission, does it mean that you had jurisdiction to proceed with this matter?
jamono ji nag pour leeral commission bi rek ndax mel na ne yow amoon nga doole pour def atte boobu layoo bi foofu sa place bi.
Yes, I had the jurisdiction to preside over the matter.
waaw boobu amoon naa doole pour jiite na atte boobu.
In fact, that was the main reason why I just had to proceed with the matter.
loolu nag moo taxoon sax ma waroon a continuer ak mbir moom.
Because we also as well transfer matters on two grounds perhaps.
ndax ñun de ci ñaari dali rek mooy tax ñuy war a toxal layoo.
Because the practice at the time will dictate.
ndax jamono boobu li nga xam ne loolu mooy atte bi dana leeral ne.
That is either you don't have jurisdiction.
benn yow amuloo doole pour atte.
In which event you will either transfer the matter or strike out the matter.
ci foo xam ne ni benn nga toxal ko wala nga génne ko sa court.
Or that it is just convenient that the matter be tried at the High Court.
wallaay tamit nga xam ne ni dal na xel rek ne daal mbir moom nañ ko atte ji si High Court bi.
Yes, so in this case we had subject matter jurisdiction.
ci jamono boobu nag ci lañ am nag atte lu tëddaloo li atte boobu noonu.
In fact, we have subject matter territorial and personal jurisdiction.
ci loolu nag mooy ñaari fànn yi nga xam ne noonu lañ tudd noonu.
And so they indicate to us that they intended to proceed with the matter.
ci lañ ñu wan nag ne ñoom dañ bëggoon a continuer ak atte boobu.
And so the matter was just called for it to be heard.
ci lañ wax nag mbir ñu oote nag ne daal dañ ko war a atte.
Continue to tell this commission how you proceeded with the matter.
eggalil wax commission bi nag naka nga mujjee nag ak layoo boobu.
Yes, so when the case was called.
jamono bi nga xamee ne dal dinañ oote nag pour ñu atte layoo boobu.
The accused was called to take his plea.
accused bi nag kiñ tuumaal ci lañ ko oo nag mu wax ndax nangu na liñ ko tuumaal wala nangu liñ ko tuumaal.
And I recall he pleaded guilty to two of the counts.
ci la fàttale ko ne daal ñaari bunte yi nga xam ne nii moom lañ ko tuumaal yëpp nangu na ko.
But they were mainly offenses in relation to the motor traffic offense.
waaye nag yim nangu mooy li nga xam ne nii mooy tuuma yi ñu ko teg ci wàllu dawalam oto bi.
These were minor offenses.
nekk na nag ay tuuma yoo xam ne tuuma yu ndaw lañ.
And so when that was done.
gannaaw bu mu defee loolu.
And I decided to adjourn the matter.
ci la xalaat nag ne dama toxal nag layoo boobu.
So as to decide what would be the most appropriate sentence.
ci la xalaat nag lan nga xam ne loolu laa ko war a àtte.
That was because of the fact that.
loolu mooy ndek mbir mi mooy.
At the time, we were not very much familiar with those minor offenses, which were the motor traffic offenses.
ndax jamono boobu nag ñun suñ xel moto gu toll lu jëm ci wàlli tefaar yu ndaw yooyu ci wàlli affaire yi oto dawalam oto.
Because as a first class magistrate would have been dealing with much more serious offenses.
ndax jamono boobu first class magistrate foog si nga war a jëflanteeg mbir yoo xam ne nii moo gën a foor loolu.
And as such, there was a traffic court at the KMC.
ndax ci jamono boobu sax am na traffic court boo xam ne mu ngi daw ci KMC.
So we would hardly have a case wherein we would have been dealing with traffic offenses.
ci jamono boobu nag dana daan jafe daal pour ñuy jëflanteeg mbir yoo xam ne ni mbiri affaire yi dawalam oto la.
But since those charges were together with one count, which was a felony.
benn ndegem ñaar yooyu nag mu ngi ànd ak benn boo xam ne nii tuuma la boo xam ne tuuma bu mat la.
Which was the rash and or negligent act causing death.
di càggante ak daw yu métti ba xam ne nii nit am na ci bakkanam des na ci.
Attracts a 10-year.
nga xam ne nii lu dem ci fukki at.
imprisonment.
yoo xam ne mën nañ ko koo tëj.
I thought it wise to retire back and then advise myself better for sentencing.
ci laa xalaat ne daal foog si rek ma tegagum suma bopp xelal suma bopp ci mbir yooyu balaa maa dogal.
Mr. Gomez, at this time, though, had the accused person pleaded guilty to the rash and or negligent act causing death?
Jamono ji nang ndax fekk na ki nga xamne mom lañ tuumal nangu na tuuma biñ ko tek ne dawal ci ciagante go xamne mo waral bakani des ci ndax nangu nako.
I can recall the accused person only pleaded guilty to driving without license.
maa ngi fàttaliku daal kiñ tuuma moom lim nangu rek mooy di dawal oto te amut licence.
But he pleaded not guilty to the rash to that act.
waaye nag nangu ci beneen bi nga xam ne moom lañ ko tuumal.
And also pleaded not guilty to disobedience to lawful order.
te tamit nag nangu tamit lu jëm ci wàlli ne dañ ko jox ndigal boo xam ne nii daf ko bañ a dégg te lu ànd ak lu wala.
So we only had 2 of the offenses to deal with regarding sentencing.
te tamit nag kon boobaa nag ñaari tefaar yi nga ñu ko tuumal rek moom lañ dese pour atte ko.
And the ones that he pleaded not guilty would have subsequently gone to main trial.
te tamit yi nga xam ne ni yooyu la bañ foog si rek ñu dal di ko dugal ci mbiri atte.
Yes.
Continue to tell the commission what happened then after on that day.
Léegi gannaaw bés boobu nag egalil wax commission bi lana ci xew.
So when I indicated to the parties, that is the IGP representative and the defense counsel representing the accused person.
bi nga xamee nag ci laa waxal nag ñaar ñi nga xam ne ñoo ko seq mooy kenn ki nga xam ne moo fa teewal IGP bi ak ki nga xam ne ni moo doon taxawal kiñ tuumaal.
That the matter will be adjourned to the following day for sentencing.
ne mbir mi danañ ko toxal ba beneen bés bi ci war koo àtte.
The prosecutor at the time rose and made an application.
ki nga xam ne nii moo nekkoon police bi doon war a doxal na kayiti atte yi ci la jóg taxaw nag dal di sàkku dara.
That they need to see me in chambers.
ne dañ ma bugg a gis ci suma office.
Before I adjourn the matter.
balaa maa toxal nag atte boobu.
And I agreed to that.
ma ànd ci loola.
I stood down the matter.
ci laa taxawalagum mbir mi.
And I went in chambers.
ma dal di dugg suma office.
And I invited the prosecutor.
ci laa oo nag ki nga xam ne mooy prosecutor bi.
And also called the defense counsel.
ak tamit lawyer bi nga xam ne ni moo taxawaloon kiñ tuumaal.
So that I will hear what they have to say.
pour nag ma déglu ñoom itamit lan lañ war a wax.
And so the prosecutor informed me.
ci la ma prosecutor bi di police bi wax yëgal ma ne.
That he had received a direction that I have to pass a sentencing on the same day.
ci la wax ne ma ci laa am jot na ndigal ne daal dama war a atte loolu ci benn bés bi keroog.
At this point.
Yes.
Did he tell you who he received this instruction from?
jamono jooju na waxoon na la ndigal loolu ci kan la ko jëlee.
Just said from his superiors.
moom daf ma rek ne ci ay kilifaam.
I understand that they work on command.
yaa xam naa daal dañ dee liggéey ci comme ni nga xam ne noonu lañ dee toppalante ay ndigal.
I also recall yes, go ahead.
Continue.
I also recall he told me that he is just merely conveying the message and not really forcing me to do otherwise.
maa ngi fàttali ko wax na ma ne man dama laa àggale bataaxel bi rek waaye na forcé wu ma la pour nga def leneen.
They seem to be worried about the message. Even the defense counsel was really worried about the message.
dafa mel ni daal ñu ngi jaaxle woon nag dogal bataaxel boobu même lawyer bi sax moom jaaxle woon na wàllu bataaxel boobu.
And so I said to them, no problem, since that is the direction that you guys have received.
ma ne ko amul benn jafe-jafe comme que loolu mooy ndigal bi nga xam ne moom nga jot.
I will abide by the directive.
danaa ànd nag ci ndigal boobu.
So let's go back to court and I will pass sentence.
ci laa ko ne nañ dem ci suuf ma dal di dogal.
So Mr. Gomez, at the time the conversation was happening in your chambers,
jamono ji nga doon wax ak ñoom ci sa office bi foofu.
did the prosecutor give any indication as to how the sentencing should be passed?
ndax police boobu amoon bi la yow bi ndax waxoon na la ak ndogal bi naka nga ko war a defee.
No, he did not, because apparently the prosecutor throughout the trial was really acting in a very professional capacity.
waxul ma ko de ne waa ndax jamono boobu ci àtte bi yëpp jamono boobu daal mu ngi dox li nga xam ne mu ngi dem ci liggéey bu mot.
At least to my knowledge.
ci suma xam-xam fi mu toll.
But the directive was that the judgment should be given, the sentence should be done on that day.
waaye ndigal bi ñu joxe woon daal mooy ne ndogal bi bés boobu lañ ko war a def.
That's correct.
waaw.
And is it correct to say that that was the first day that you had actually received this case file?
ndax mun nañoo wax ne tamit bés boobu mooy bés bu njëkk bi nga jotee file bi lu aju ci wàlli layoo boobu.
That's correct.
waaw noonu la.
Can you continue to tell us what happened when you went back to the court to deliver the sentencing?
Yeah, so I've asked them to go back to court and then I will follow suit. So when they went back to court, I thought about the information. Then I said to myself that I think this is a time for me to just make sure I do the right thing. So I went to the courtroom. And then I still maintain my earlier decision, which is that I will still adjourn the matter for sentencing. And that was done.
Mr. Gomez, as per your statement that you delivered to this commission,
Mr. Gomez,
you have said an interesting statement in it. You said at the time, I decided to adjourn for sentencing the following day. I knew at the time that it was a risky decision to make, considering the situation we were in at the time. Magistrates have been sanctioned for decisions made in court. Please, can you explain to this commission what you meant by this statement?
Yes, we were living at a time wherein the environment at the judiciary was not really friendly. By that I mean there was no such of independence of the judiciary. And in fact, this independence was threatened both externally and internally. Externally by the executive or executive organs. And internally by the administrators we had at the time. Who would want to believe that they had to do the bidding of the president or the executive to clinch onto their offices. And so time and again, you will see some of our colleagues who would be called to Banjul to answer to the CJ regarding the decision that they have taken. And they will be struggling to even to try to defend and explain the reasoning behind their decision. That was just uncalled for, because in the judiciary there is always the hierarchy of courts in the appellate system. And so we have always had the opinion that before we are sanctioned administratively, why not the parties, the aggrieved parties, applying or appealing the decision? And I will also later in my testimony explain how some of our colleagues had been arrested and detained. And some had to even run out of the jurisdiction because of the interference that we have received at the time. Yes.
So, Mr. Gomez, is it correct to say that you're telling this commission that at this time you were worried?
Mr. Gomez,
that the state, meaning Yaya Jammeh, had an interest in this matter. Hence why you received the message through the prosecutor.
Yes, because when I received the information from the prosecutor.
Waaw ndax ba jamono bi nga xamé ni jotoon na bataaxel boobu ci atek prosecutor bi.
Who himself was also looking worried.
Moom si boppam sax mu ngi jaaxle woon.
And then had to make it very clear that he was only a conveyor of the message.
Mu leeral ma ne man de dama la àggale bataaxel bi rek de.
And we were very worried at the time because we were very aware of the situation back then.
Ñu ngi jaaxle woon de xam nañ nag jamono boobu nekkin bi.
And truly, if the information was correct, then it means that there is really a serious interest from the executive in the name of the president.
Su fekkee ne kon nag bataaxel boobu wéroon na kon nag dafa mel ni am na aajo boo xam ne mu ngi tukkee ci executive bi di président bi ci boppam.
And so it is just natural that one would be very, very worried.
Te kon nag nekk na loo xam ne rek ci nekk ne danañ jaaxle.
Mr. Gomez, tell this commission what you did on that day, even though you were worried.
Mr. Gomez, waxal commission bi nag loo def dëgg la jaaxle woon nga de waaye lan nga def.
I went back to court.
Dama delluwaat ci court bi.
Because I had advised myself.
Ndax jamono boobu yedd naa suma bopp.
That it would be wrong to pass sentence on that day.
Ne daal du jaadu pour ma dogal bés boobu noonu.
Without better advising myself.
Te fekk yedduma suma bopp bu baax.
Regarding what the law was at the time.
And
so this may operate unfairly against the accused person.
And
I wouldn't want to do that. And so the safest thing to do at the time was to maintain my earlier position. So I went to court and then maintained my position that this case will be adjourned to the subsequent adjourned date for sentencing.
And
then that was exactly what I did.
Can you tell this commission what happened on the next adjourned date?
In the next adjourned date, I had already consulted the relevant laws. And then it was very clear that the offense was very minor. So I said to myself, since it remains to be, no matter what the facts are, it remains to be a traffic offense. And so I had to be guided by the rules regarding sentencing as per the traffic offense. And these were offenses that will mainly attract fine. And so I just sentenced the convict accordingly. If I recall well, it is a fine in default to serve a term in prison. This usually either $2,000 or $3,000 or so, around that figure. Yes.
Can you tell this commission what happened next?
So the two counts were already behind us. And so we had to proceed in full-blown trial with the subsequent counts. So the IGP called witnesses. They called the security officers who were allegedly said to have shot at the vehicle. I mean, they all testified. And also the prosecution tendered in court as well the autopsy report. And evidence was laid in that respect regarding what caused the death of the So we followed the normal court proceedings regarding trial. Mr.
Gomez?
Yes.
Just for a better understanding for the Commission. At the second adjourned date, where you found it necessary that the accused person was guilty in some of the charges before you. Did you reserve the judgment, the sentencing, on that day until you heard the full trial?
I cannot recall. I think that would have been exactly what I did. Which would have been also a very appropriate thing to do. Considering the fact that he was also facing some other counts. And so to pass sentence may actually have an effect in the trial. Yes, but this happened 5 to 6 years ago. But I also forgot to state clearly that the issue of bail was discussed, which was very natural in a criminal matter. And I think that was one of, if not the only matter that I've denied bail. Because the accused person was in mild truth throughout the pendency of the trial. The reason being, considering the circumstance of the case at the time, I thought it was in his own interest for him to be in a place where everyone will know he is at.
Was it because of an influence or a directive that said not to grant bail?
No,
in fact, there was no directive regarding not granting bail. This was a matter which involved shooting. It was really unprecedented to a certain extent. Even though there were certain incidents in the Gambia, but then I would say for us at the lower court, we wouldn't really have access to those cases. And there was great interest both in the public domain and the government interest as well. So in my mind, the safety of the accused person was paramount. And as counsel, if you look at the criteria to consider in granting bail, you will realize that it's in fact fundamental that if you think that the life of the accused person may be at risk when he is outside, it will be much more safer to deny him bail and pending determination of the case. So I thought his life may not have been safe outside. So I denied him bail for his own interest.
So Mr. Gomez, is correct to say that you're telling this commission that you were protecting the witness, so you held him in protective custody, in other words, from your actions of denying bail.
That's
correct.
And you have just told the commission that there was interest by the state in this matter.
Yes.
And there was also interest for the public to know what happened.
That's That's correct.
Mr. Chair, with your permission, at this point, I would like to show the witness a letter that emanated from the President's office.
am na letter boo xam ne nag yaa man su ma amee ndogal ci yow dama ko bëgg a woon seede bi letter bu bàyyeekoo ci office président bi.
Yes. Go ahead.
With the permission of the Commission, I would like you to read the subject of that letter.
dama bëgg nag nga jàngal ñu li nga xam ne moo nekk ci letter boobu.
The subject is incident report.
mooy xew-xew boo xam ne ni àggale nañ ko.
And can I go through that?
You may continue.
It states that this to acknowledge receipt of your investigation report.
lii nag mooy wane nag ne jot nañ li nga xam ne ni mooy report bi ci gannaaw seen gestu.
On the fatal shooting of Ya Binta Jaju on the 7th March 2015.
ci rey goo xam ne ni dañ fetal Ya Binta Jaju.
The report was brought to the attention of His Excellency the President.
bataaxel bi nag àggale nañ ko ci kanam His Excellency the President bi.
Commander-in-Chief and Minister of Defense.
ki nga xam ne ni mooy Commander-in-Chief tey tamit mooy ministre bi saytu woon wàlli kaaraange réew mi.
His Excellency pursued the report.
moom nag His Excellency xencu na nag report boobu.
And directed that the accused be taken to court as soon as possible.
ne ki nga xam ne moom lañ tuumaal nañ ko yóbbu court nu mu gën a gaawee.
And it should be impressed upon the judge.
tey tamit dana nekk loo xam ne nii dañ ko teg ci kaw àttekat boobu.
To have the trial proceed without adjournments.
tey nag li nga xam ne ni mooy àtte boobu buñ ko mos a toxal.
The public should also be informed of what happened through a press release.
tey tamit nag mbooloo mi war nañ leen a yëgal ci li nga xam ne moo xew jaarale ko nag ci bataaxel bu jëm ci bunti tasekaay xibaar yi.
I think it was signed by MLFK Jammeh for the permanent secretary.
ki ko sign mooy LMFK Jammeh pour permanent secretary.
An address to the Chief of Defence Staff and also the Inspector General of Police, if I'm correct.
ñu daal di ko yónnee tamit Chief of Defence Staff ak Inspector General bu Police.
Can you also indicate those who it was copied to?
It was copied to the Secretary General Office of the President.
so copy nañ ko ci Secretary General Office bi President bi sottandeku nañ ko jox ko ko.
Permanent Secretary Minister of Interior.
Permanent Secretary Ministre bi saytu wàlli Interior doxalin biir réew mi.
And the Solicitor General and Legal Secretary.
ak ki nga xam ne mooy Solicitor General ak Legal Secretary bi.
Thank you.
jërëjëf.
It was not addressed to anybody in the judiciary.
dafa mel ni daal binduñ turu kenn koo xam ne ci war a kooku la war a dem ci bunti attekaay bi.
I haven't seen that in the letter, I'm not sure.
gisuma ko nag ci letter bi leerul ma daal.
But would it be correct to say that at that time, any message that got to the SG, which is the Solicitor General and Legal Secretary, it would automatically be transferred to the judiciary?
war na loolu tekki war na ne letter boo xam ne yónnee nañ ko Solicitor General Legal Secretary bi dañ ko toxal ci buntu attekaay bi.
I wouldn't use the word automatically, but apparently, yes, because in the letter, it is indicated that the President said that the matter should proceed without any adjournments.
ne président bi dafa wane na mbir layo boobu dañ ko war a continuer di doxal te buñ ko aj benn yoon.
And so perhaps the only institution that can carry out that would be the judge or the magistrate at the time.
te buntu bi nga xam ne ni moo ko mën a def rek mooy bunti judge bi wala magistrate bi ci waxtu woowu.
Which was impossible to carry out.
te nga xam ne daal dana doon jafe pour def ko.
Therefore, Mr. Gomez, may I ask you, was this letter necessary?
loolu nag Mr. Gomez man laaj la ndax letter bi sax jaroon na ko.
Was it necessary to interfere in the judicial process?
ndax jaroon na pour dugal seen loxo ci li nga xam ne moo di wàlli atte gi.
Maybe to say in fact when it was necessary would be an understatement.
suñ waxee sax ne daal jaaduutoon loolu sax lu dafa tuuti sax.
This is a clear violation of the fundamental rights.
lii nekk na xëtt yelleef yi.
Of and also the principle that the judiciary must be independent.
te tamit moo wane tamit ne ji buntu attekaay bi dañu war di dox ci seen sago.
And not only independent but absolutely independent.
nekku sax seen sago ci bopp waaye sago su gën a sago to la ci war a nekk.
And so for the president to release or to release such a letter,
pour président bi na bind façon letter bu mel nii,
would really be an interference
dana nekk loo xam ne ni dañ ci dugal seen loxo
in judicial proceedings,
ci li nga xam ne mu ngi aju ci wàlli attekaay bi,
which definitely is really a serious matter.
ci loo xam ne daal nekk na loo xam ne daal lu doy waar la.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Mr. Chair, at this time, may we take the lunch break and continue when we return.
Thank you, Counsel, and thank you, Mr. Gomez. We will resume at 3 o'clock sharp.
Thank you.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Namon nalen, dano gaja gise lol. Namon nalen, dano gaja gise lol. Mbam duchade, domi mbam duchade. Ndawa kamumin, sai fugisul joy.
Assalamu alaikum, assalamu alaikum, assalamu alaikum. Defuñ nak lu dul rek demal lañ ba Austria. Jëndal lañ jes na fam gëna piré. Jes na bi gëna ndaanaale ci jes na yi. Ñu naan ko Magnum XL ak Magnum Air. In fact Magnum Air sax dafa génangut. Waaye da ngeen ko dégg ci kanam tuuti rek. Moom laa leen indil waa Gambia xam ngeen ne yebuma leen, xeebuma leen te duma leen photo. Man yéen laay bégee xangañ. Loo lañ nama nag ma indil lañ. Mu ngi nii loo lañ nama ci jes na rek. Xolo boo lañ nama ak design boo lañ nama rek egsi na. Manaan lañ nag egsi lañ. Mu ngi nii skincare plus laati de. Xam ngeen ne rek suñ plus yi comes in so many different ways. Our musical matuti hankañ. Wow. Man seen bo jëla ma gaañe hankañ. Wow. Skincare Plus of the Gambia niñ leen ko taamoo di defalee rek mun ngeen ñoo jot ci number yi bu dee Gambia fii la call lañu si 36 99 137 bu dee yaa nga United States nag call ñu si 347 731 0071 te naan lañ nag suñ contract bi DHL mu nga fam ne woon ba léegi foo nekk ci àddina rek boo ñu ne ring ñu jaay la paagal la ba pare yónnee la ko ci ak nu mu gën a yombee xam nga rek fañ ne woon fala ba léegi number si naka la 347 731 0071 mooy United States suñ number bi fii locally fii ci Gambia fii mooy 36 99 137 te naan la nga number yëpp a ngi WhatsApp boo ñuy call dañu am noonu rek la nag waaw